Thank you all for joining us. We are going to get started here. So thank you again for joining our MSI hosted webinar. This month we are going to be covering DocuWare, more specifically DocuWare Intelligent Document Processing, or IDP. I'm joined here by Matt Taggart from DocuWare, who's going to be walking us through some information about what IDP is, showing a brief demonstration of IDP, and then also covering a real-world example to give you an idea of how this can fit to your business environment. Before we get started, I do want to point out on the right, there is a toolbar that you can use to send in and ask questions. If you think of any questions throughout this webinar, please go ahead and throw them in there. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. Before covering a little bit more about what IDP is, I'm going to go over a brief introduction of what DocuWare is. So DocuWare is the cloud-based document management system. The standard package is powered by AI machine learning that we call intelligent indexing, that can learn to read and extract information off of a variety of documents that you are working with, pulling off key information that you would need to search by, allowing you to flexibly search through documents and easily find them when you need them. We can also take that information that we've indexed to power different workflow automations. Those workflow automations can be set up in a customized way to match your manual paper-based processes. Some common examples that we can automate are an accounts payable automation, HR onboarding, or contract management. At its core, DocuWare is a document management system where we can use that information, like I had mentioned, that we've indexed to flexibly search through and find documents that we need in a way that is relevant to us based on what we are searching for. You're also OCRing all type text on documents in DocuWare, which allows you to do something like a Google search through all of your documents and find exactly what you need with a key search term. DocuWare makes it easy to work with different departments and teams that need to share access to documents they all work with. Each individual can work with those documents in a way that is specific to them. And then the cloud-based system makes it easy to access from anywhere, whether you're in the office, at home, in the field. You can find the documents you need to collaborate and get processes done faster. DocuWare does provide a high level of visibility to data that you have associated with documents in the system. This makes it easy to generate business insights. You can also connect to tools like Power BI to automatically generate reporting into easy to read and understand dashboards. And DocuWare does provide a robust security infrastructure with automated backups and advanced encryption. The functionality in DocuWare makes it easy to manage user permissions and access. It also creates automatic audit trails so you can easily comply with various document compliance standards. And then DocuWare's flexible searching makes it easy to compile documents for audits. DocuWare does offer flexible integration options such as APIs, customized data exports, or database connections, allowing DocuWare to conform to your other software's requirements. This allows us to create end-to-end process automation so that DocuWare can fit seamlessly into your environment. I'm going to pass it over to Matt, and he's going to go into some more details on what IDP for DocuWare is now and expand on that a little further.
Great. Thanks, Justine, and good morning, everyone. So now that we've got a good understanding of DocuWare, let's take a look into what is Intelligent Document Processing, or IDP for short. So DocuWare IDP leverages artificial intelligence to capture and process information from your documents with tremendous speed and accuracy. Any document process that you have today with manual data entry could be a great fit for IDP. IDP can capture unstructured data, and this is critical because we know that all organizations today have about 90% of their data being unstructured. So what is unstructured data? Any documents that have information on it which lacks a predefined or formatted structure. So an example of a structured document would be like an invoice, where you're working off of a standard template that might have, each document might have different data, but the data will stay in the consistent location. So invoice number for a vendor would be in the same area time and time again. But an unstructured data example would be like a text document delivered in a Word or PDF format, or an email where there's data that we need captured, but it could exist anywhere. That's still important for us to capture, but there's no standard format for us to be able to use. That is where IDP comes into play. By leveraging the automation of IDP, We allow our employees to spend less time manually processing this data and more time to focus on the tasks that drive higher value to the organization. So how does this document automation allow for a more efficient business process? I think it's helpful to first look at the challenges that we can solve and then look into with IDP how those directly solve those challenges. So today we all have low quality documents that we're needing to process. The common culprit is anything that is a warehouse or shipping document, like a packing slip or a bill of lading. Oftentimes they'll get damaged or torn or dirty, and we still need to be able to get information off of those documents into our systems for the various processes. You also might have complex data positions. So think about if you have information that could vary based on how many lines that document has or what the how many pages that document has. That information is still incredibly important, but it's harder for us to be able to capture that. And then taking it a step further with handwriting. So traditionally, it has been very difficult for us to be able to capture and extract handwritten data, but a lot of organizations still need to process those handwritten notes into our systems as part of our specific process. And with IDP, we can leverage that AI. It's going to learn the documents to read the data that we need to capture off of the documents. So even if it's low quality and it's crumpled or stepped on, the AI is going to know exactly where and how to extract that critical information. This same benefit holds true for handwritten data. So if someone in the warehouse writes a note on the packing slip and we need to be able to capture and extract it, we can do that now with IDP. If we're relying on manual data entry for these documents into an ERP or an accounting system, we always run the risk of human error. If someone were to mistype an invoice with the wrong starting digit, this could have considerable business impacts for your organization. IDP allows us to leverage the powerful OCR and automatically capture and process these documents. Organizations typically also have different processes based on the document type. We're going to have different steps to process an invoice than we would a contract or a shipping document. They might fall under complete different departments that have their own unique processes. IDP can identify and classify each specific document type and assign them with your specific business rules. IDP is one solution to manage for all the different document types, processes, and sources that you might have. Now we're going to look at and highlight the 3 top areas where IDP can help. First, handling different business processes by the document type, eliminating error-prone and time-consuming manual intervention. And lastly, recognizing data from weathered documents, complex data positions, and yes, even handwriting. Now let's take a look at how DocuWare coupled with IDP can help reduce error-prone and time-consuming manual intervention. So today we all have documents coming in from various sources: email, accounting systems, ERP, or maybe it's paper that we have scanned in. Each one of these document sources end up requiring its own unique process that is dictated by regulatory, security, and compliance standards. With IDP, we can bring all these document sources under one umbrella. So IDP is cloud-based. It's very easy to manage. It's not just easy to maintain, but IDP can adjust to your needs as those needs change over time. Leveraging IDP, we're able to efficiently manage those different processes and how they are impacted by security and compliance standards, so that the software is the one doing the heavy lifting, not you. Here are the areas that IDP can provide added value from the standard DocuWare benefits that were just mentioned. So how do we incorporate damaged or stained documents? How do we capture key handwritten data off of those records or adjust to more complex varying data positions? We're able to leverage next generation handwriting recognition. So we're going to learn the handwriting recognition and the metrics of your specific users, and it's going to automatically extract that data for our processing purposes. We can also classify those documents so we can handle a large batch of dozens of different document types and classify them based on the document type and route them according to whatever specific business rules that you have. This capture works completely in the background. So your power users, as they're doing their day-to-day work, won't even realize or interact with the processing. It all happens in the background. So here's a visual summary of the automation that IDP provides from data capture to start all the way through to archiving. So we're able to capture that complex data accurately and efficiently. Then we can automatically identify specific documents with that mixed batch of document types. No more needing to pre-sort the batch before they're scanned in. And then this will allow us to reduce that manual intervention. The DocuWare workflow does the heavy lifting for each step in the process, which is going to greatly reduce the risk of that human error in matching several documents together and entering data into our systems. Then once it's been captured and processed, we have a nice, clean, organized repository to easily search and retrieve these documents exactly when we need them. So let's take a look. I'm going to pull up my browser. And this is the DocuWare system. So DocuWare is a browser-based solution. It's available both cloud and on-premise. And you can see I have two side-by-side screens all in this single display. And this left side is going to be my document workspace. So this is where I do my day-to-day document processes and all of my functions. And then this right side is my viewer. So I can view documents coming into the system. We can also do a lot of different functions from this toolbar, like edit the document, print, download. We can optimize the display settings here, and then we can even include annotations. So I could do a text box or even highlight, draw arrows. A lot of different ways we can still interact with this document now digitally. So I'm going to hop back over to my workspace, and we're going to look at the document trays. So our document trays are really just a temporary holding area for documents coming into the system. You can see I have my personal inbox here, but we can have different document trays based on the document type or the department. Next, we're going to look at search. So search is one of the biggest core benefits of a content management solution, is just the ability to quickly and easily find your documents when you need to. I have two searches here, one for accounting and one for contracts. Here's all the different search criteria that I can configure to be able to really narrow down and find the document that I need. So I could search by a contract type, for example, or a contract partner. So if I wanted to look at Finch Industries, I could run a search and pull all the associated documents to that contract partner. All of the documents are fully text searchable as well. So I could use a text search if I didn't remember the contract type or the contract partner, but I knew that the document that I'm looking for had the word postage in it. I can just simply search the word postage. It's going to show me all the documents that have the word postage in it and where on the document that information is located. So that is our search. I'm going to go over to lists, and lists are really just a dashboard for your documents. So think about any type of workflow or duties that your user might need to pay attention to for their day-to-day work. We could set up a list that is relevant to them. In this case, we want to know when there's new contracts or new finance documents that have hit the system. So I can pull up both, and as documents come into these lists, I will be notified with alerts, and I can see the documents populate in real time. Lastly, we have tasks. So I will get a notification if my user has any task associated to any of the workflows that I am attached to. So I'll be notified here that I have some type of action item to complete. So before I show the IDP example, I wanted to show the indexing capability that comes included with DocuWare that we've had for a couple years now, which is intelligent indexing. So here I'm going to pull up an invoice from Rapid Transport, and this falls under more of that structured data example that I described earlier. So we know the information is going to be pretty standard throughout for this specific vendor. We have the company name, the invoice number. As the invoices come in, it's going to be pretty templated or standard from invoice to invoice. So I'm just going to store this into my accounts payable filing cabinet. And you can see intelligent indexing is automatically captured and extracted all of the fields that I have said are important off of this specific document. So I'm able to capture the company name, invoice number. It'll even highlight where that information is located as I go line by line. order number. So by just leveraging the power of intelligent indexing, we've captured and extracted all the data automatically from this structured document. Now I'm going to go back to my IDP demo. And here in my document tray, we have a lot of different document types. We have an employment agreement, we have an offer letter, leasing contract, we even have a packing slip and an invoice. So a mixed batch of documents. I don't want to have to go through and sort each specific document type. I want to just be able to select all and store all the documents automatically. So I'm just going to store automatically. Once I store these documents, the IDP service is going to be working in the background. It's going to be assigning any workflow that I have to this specific document or this specific document tray. And it's going to capture, classify the documents, and extract all the data that I need to have into some other system, like an accounting package or an ERP system. So if I go to my lists, I will be able to refresh and see this information being captured, classified, and extracted in real time in the background. So you can see it's already captured the invoices, the packing slips, even the line items in each one of those documents. And as I continue to update, it will have more and more information that is being extracted from that workflow. So in the contracts, it's identified the type, the partner, the subject, start date and end date, which will be very important for our purposes in tracking. And now we can assign workflows to these specific documents. So if I want to have a specific invoice reviewed by somebody on my team, I can set up a task. And you can see I have a task notification here that I have an invoice to review and approve. So we can have this routed to whichever users would be needing to review this document. Here I can pull up the invoice from US Steel, and you can see it's pretty crumpled. It looks like somebody stepped on it or maybe wadded it up. They tried to shoot a basket with it, but it's not the best condition. But you can see we have two different decisions. We can approve or reject this invoice. But let's take a look and see how the software was able to index this document. So if I edit the index entries, you can see it was able to capture the line item data, so the item number, description, how many were ordered, the unit price, and the line total, which all match exactly. So even though it was a crumpled document, lower quality, the AI was able to read and extract all the data that I need as part of my specific workflow. So here I can look and make any decision. I'll just put looks good, please pay, and hit confirm. So now that document's going to be stored as approved in the system, and then it can go into any kind of accounting system or ERP for that final payment step. So that was the IDP demonstration. I'm going to go back to the presentation. So in summary, IDP can streamline your document processes and make your day-to-day tasks a lot more efficient. So we're going to be able to optimize the data capture from the start, clean data in, clean data out. The classification function will drastically reduce the amount of time that we spend sorting and pre-processing these batches of documents and allow us to avoid that duplicate work. So we're going to eliminate the risk of human error in these manual steps, allowing for all of our organizations to scale and expand the business without needing to reassign resources or add new headcount to be able to keep up. Here's a case study that I wanted to highlight of an organization that we were able to help with IDP. So this was a manufacturing company that were filling out production logs by hand, as you can see shown. They're writing in key data that they needed to do as part of their process with these production logs. They would then, at the end of the day, walk all the different logs that they had completed over to the appropriate reviewer to review each one of those hard copy documents. They would make notes on it, and then that person would physically walk those documents back over to the admin team to enter that information into their ERP system manually. With IDP, we empowered the organization to scan in the production log. So IDP would automatically capture the handwritten data and route it to the appropriate viewer electronically. They would then look at the information, and then they would submit it and approve it, automatically getting sorted and exported into their ERP system. So by leveraging the power of the AI and the automation in the workflow, they're able to save 40 hours per month to do some of those higher value activities in their respective roles. Thank you all for the opportunity to share IDP, and now I'm going to hand it over to you, Justine.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Thanks for going over all that, and that was an impressive case study. Sounds like we do have a couple questions in, or looks like we do, so we'll go through those here. So Matt, how many files can you upload into IDP in a year? Is there any sort of limitation around that?
Good question. So there's no limit. The licensing is determined by the number of annual volume. So the number of documents that you would need to process in IDP would be the licensing that you would purchase for that year. The more volume that you purchase, the lower cost it is per document.
Okay. Another one we have, what are some of the most common document types that organizations are using IDP for? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, so I'd say any document that has traditionally been difficult to capture. So some of that unstructured data instead of the structured data format. So an example, we just helped an organization that received orders via their website, but they'd come in an email format. So there wasn't any structured templated document to be able to automatically capture these. And they were manually typing each order into their ERP, but they had 100,000 orders per year. So we were able to automatically capture those emails of the order information, automatically route it into their ERP, and save them a bunch of time to manually hand key those data in.
Yeah, wow, impressive. Okay, one more question we have here. What emerging technologies or trends do you see shaping the future of AI data extraction?
That's a great question. So we've seen with this solution right now, the AI is doing tremendous work as it relates to processing intelligence. Like the examples that I showed around OCR and classification, it's doing that processing work and it's eliminating us for that manual intervention, which is a huge step. I think as we look forward, we're going to see as the processing continues to get more sophisticated, so will the behavioral and analytics side. So the next step that I see is making business decisions with these documents based on historical trends and data that your organization has seen as it relates to those documents. It'll be really interesting.
Okay, yeah, wow. Another one here, is IDP an LLM, like a large language learning model?
Yes, so we have our own LLM, large language model, associated to the product. So it is constantly learning and enhancing its capabilities based on the data that it processes through the LLM.
All right, and then last one here, do I need DocuWare to be able to use IDP?
You do not. So you can purchase IDP as a standalone solution, as well as coupling it with DocuWare. So you have both options.
All right. Perfect. Looks like that's our questions for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you do have any further questions you didn't get in now, please reach out to either your MSI sales rep or docac@metrosales.com to learn more. And thank you again.
Thanks, guys.